6:34 on Thursday, April 3rd, 2025. This is a regular meeting of the North Attleboro Planning Board. The members present are Greg Walsh, Bill Blaze, Jason Giddle, and Marie Clorner. First item on the agenda after the roll call is the approval of minutes for February 20th and March 6th. I will take them separately. Any additions, deletions, corrections, etc. for February 20th?
Madam Chair,
Mr. Giddle.
having read them, my compliments to whoever typed them up. Typical good job, accurate depiction of the meeting, so I would move to accept the minutes of February 20th.
Is there a second?
I wasn't at that meeting.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Giddle. Oops, wrong sheet. Motion made by Mr. Giddle, seconded by Mr. Walsh. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
I'm gonna abstain.
And you are an abstain. Okay. March 6th. Did anyone want to table that? I never got to March 6th.
Madam Chair,
Mr. Giddle.
having read through them, I would like to table the vote on the March 6th minutes. I have some confusion over specific, so there's no questions on why, some confusion over the recounting of my conversation with Mr. Silverstein regarding the definition of the word reasonably. And that is on page 3.
Yep.
And I don't believe that, I think it's more diction and grammar than it is.
It's not
It
perfect.
doesn't read correct, so I would move to table it, and Gil, I'll come back with my corrections.
All right, sounds good.
So I'll take a motion to table March 6th to our next meeting
So
on
moved.
April 17th.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Giddle, seconded by Mr. Blaze to table the March 6th minutes. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain.
Excuse me?
He's gonna
Abstain.
abstain,
Oh,
he
yeah,
wasn't
so
here.
we got a 301 again. Okey dokey. Next item on the agenda is Casa Realty Builders, the Estates Cluster subdivision regarding the bond.
Hello.
Good evening. As always, would you identify yourself for the record and remember to speak loudly so that everyone can hear you?
Michael Curatola here with attorney Lou Levine. And I guess my 1 month of law school comes to an end. I have an attorney here. We're here to have the bond, the entire bond released for the subdivision at the estates.
Did you have anything else you wanted to say about it?
We presented, I believe, all the material the last couple of meetings. We did hand in the certificate of compliance for conservation.
The discussion the last time was regarding the damage to an abutting property
Yep.
due to a swale not being constructed. What is the status of that?
We have constructed it, and I believe the last meeting I forwarded some pictures of the swale, and it has eliminated that problem.
Okay, I am going to give Dr. Glover an opportunity to
Sure.
address the issue as well. Mr. Tardif, is there anything you wanted to say?
Hi, Mario Tardif. I'm the resident at 41 Sagebrush Drive that abuts 51 and 45 Morgan Way. So the timeline, which I have on paper, which I can expose to you. So January, February, March of last year, 2024, we had some heavy rains. I've got some pictures. What ended up happening is it's a fairly steep hill to that development. The site plan shows submitted to the town, shows a swale. It was not there. We had a landslide, so that hill collapsed onto my property, and I started getting water in the basement January, February, and March of that year. I had the town planner, I had DPW, so people came and looked at it, and through the town planner giving me contact info, I emailed
Mike?
Mr. Vinsaga, I believe, Steve Vinsaga. So that first week of May, they did dig out a swale to divert the water. So I don't want to say we were waiting to see if that worked, and if anybody knows about last year's weather, we did not get any rain from May through September. We had a drought, but I then contacted the builder again in September. So I've had two gentlemen come to look at the water damage in my house. The swale is built now, but to me, the water damage is done, and that needs to be remedied, and I don't feel that it's my responsibility to do it, because logic tells me a site plan is approved by the town. It does not get done that way. A hill collapses because of it, and then I get water in my basement after living there for 25 years and not getting anything, and pictures will show how much water there was and all of that.
Have any discussion with the owner regarding his addressing your flooding issue?
They made a couple phone calls to me, which I did not answer back because I didn't feel it was even. I've had a company come out to give me an idea of what it would cost to take all the baseboards out, and again, you have to pay for an extensive kind of assessment on that, because as he says, you cut into the board, you don't know how far up the wall the mold goes, that kind of thing. It is groundwater, so there needs to be extensive cleaning. As he explained to me, there's pesticides and things like that because it was a development growing grass, but all of that. So he gave me a number, and I don't know this for sure. I just know that what the builder offered me, wouldn't even make a dent into what it would cost to cut. And it was the entire basement and workshop. So all of the moldings have to come out, all the flooring has to come out, it's got to be cleaned, and the mold remedied. So I did have two people from the builder come and look at it and walk through. They saw it, and whatever they felt is not going to be sufficient for me to just get my house back the way it was, and I feel like in these circumstances, it has nothing to do with anything that I did wrong after being there for 25 years. It has everything to do with them being negligent in not following the site plan that they submitted to the town. And there are pictures of that to show from January, February, March. So I'm hoping that the town can help me to fix this.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Could you identify yourself, please, name and address for the record, and again, speak so that everybody can hear you? These microphones are only for the recording, there's no speakers in here.
Okay, my name is Attorney Lou Levine. I'm here on behalf of the applicant seeking reduction of the bond. And
Can everybody hear him? I'm gonna shut
Maybe
the
if you
fan
turn the
off.
podium a little that way and speak a little louder.
He's gonna
Oh, you're going to
turn
turn the
off the
fan
fan.
off? Okay.
Again, that, as the chair said, that microphone is not tied into any speakers, it's strictly for television.
okay,
It's tied into
Yes,
the
sir.
recording
turn
in the
sideways.
booth there.
Yes, thank you.
thank you, thank you. I think you've heard the history of the swale, and developer acknowledges that the swale wasn't put in. And as the gentleman indicated, it was put in last year. And the issue now becomes, one of compensating him, for the damage that was occurred. And we've tried to do that, at least that's what I've been told. We've tried to do that. We've made monetary offers. And we're not, there's no agreement. I only respectfully suggest that this is not a place to be negotiating this monetary settlement. There's a bond that secures completion of the subdivision. We've completed it. In good faith, I will represent, we will continue to try and work with them. We've made monetary offers. That's about it. I mean, we apologize, for the swale not getting put in. We put the swale in. It's correct now. Subdivision is complete. The bond is to secure completion of the subdivision. I don't mean to be disrespectful at all, but it's not supposed to secure, third-party claims that, can occur. In the same way if somebody came in here and they said the kitchen cabinet's warped when they bought a house from the applicant, that would not be germane to whether or not you would release the bond. So we've corrected it. You have confirmation that we've corrected it. We'll attempt in good faith to work with them. Otherwise, it leaves you in the middle of negotiating this, which is something I would hope you wouldn't want to do as a board, and I don't think you have the authority. I mean that respectfully. I'm not telling you one way or another what to do. So this is a private issue. Again, we admitted we made a mistake. We corrected it. It's been about a year since we've corrected it. From what he just said was last May. Take a couple of months. And I assume it's working because we've had some, reasonable rains and et cetera. So that's what it is. I mean, we have this bond. All the other work has been done. You were looking for a certificate of compliance, which we provided, and that's about it. I don't want to tell the board how to do their job, but I think this is just an external issue that has to be worked out between the parties, but it's not part of what the bond is about. That's about all I can say. Do whatever you think is right.
Mr. Gittle, I'm going to call
I would
you
agree with
first.
Attorney Levine and what Mr. Tardif, you have our sympathies, but the extent of the planning board's reach is the development and the bond that is secured for that development. I do think, sir, that you are in fairly strong position legally. I think you have a builder that has admitted an issue, and I would encourage you to follow that path to get fully compensated. But the connection to the bond, and I've been doing this over 20 years, has never been to, as the attorney explained, cover situations like this. It's to protect the town's interest if the builder does not follow through on the development that we have planned. So while you have our sympathy, that would be my opinion.
May I speak?
Wait till I call him, and then you can respond to all of us at once. Mr. Blaze?
I think Jason said it all.
Mr. Walsh?
I would probably echo Jason's statement as well, but I do have some questions about the current conditions of this. And do you have copies of the pictures that show it today or most recent?
Yeah,
Because I think
they were last taken.
the only pictures we've seen are the ones I've seen in the packet right now.
Yeah.
Those are the same ones that were in the email.
So I have pictures of the final product. They were last taken in May, though, just so you know. But
That's
I think,
fine. I'm okay with
yeah,
that.
it's pretty accurate, though.
I'm just
I
curious if the pictures that I'm seeing in here are the same pictures.
Yeah, sure. So just give me a second.
Clear
So
up there.
I'm pulling it up.
Exactly.
So I am going to, just give me a second. Sorry, I don't know why I did that. Sorry, I'm trying to find some better pictures, so I'm going quickly.
Has our peer review gone out and looked at this swale?
They have not looked at the swale, but Joe Nihill and I went out there and we were satisfied, and we had a discussion on if it needed to go to peer review, and we both determined that.
See,
it
just
didn't
based
need
on the
to.
pictures, it looks very rough to me. And is this swale designed or installed per the design? or is this swale just kind of hacked in there to make it work?
I think it was by design.
So
I think.
was the
From the
original
opinion from
design
myself and the
for a rock
DPW.
swale or for a grass swale?
Again, I don't know.
Isn't that a lucky case?
Madam Chair?
Sir?
Just one additional comment, Mr. Tardif, is, again, you have our sympathies. I just don't believe we're qualified to understand what the value of the damage is, and for us to be in the middle of that negotiation, I think is inappropriate. While, again, I'll say for the fourth time, you have our sympathies, and I do believe you're in a strong position. It's just the planning board would not be in a good, educated decision to decide. We're in a position to say the swale meets the regulation and the plan, and make them fix that, but we are not educated on the value of what your baseboard and all the fixes and things like that would be.
These aren't better pictures, I'm gonna go
There you go.
through.
And what, the swale starts at 41 Morgan Way or 42 Morgan Way?
41, I believe.
Yeah, I have that. Okay, I see it now. Wait, that's different. Who generated this? It's different. See it?
Yeah, that's proposed.
Just for reference, this is the immediate picture. I went out there right away. This is the first picture I took before the swale, before anything.
That's the as-built,
Is that the?
prior to the swale, I think. Right, that's the, let's get rid of the
No, it'd be
picture.
right here. If this is an as-built.
If you look at, that's the garage, not on.
Yeah,
this
that's
one.
the. Oh, that's the garage right there. No, you're right. You're right. Yeah, that one.
It's supposed to come down.
Yeah, so this must be.
It's supposed to be.
Do we know who prepared this? From Gil. All right, there we go. There's two. So this is an as-built then. Yeah, all right. This is the as-built. This is the design.
Right, that as-built prior to
All right.
the swale.
It looks different, but whatever. All right. Gil, would you be happy with that swale the way it was built if you were living there?
So, the pictures is prior to the full spring and summer season, right? So, Joe, all I can say is Joe Nihil and I went there several times after these pictures. I asked him his opinion because he knows this stuff better than I.
Yep.
And he is satisfied.
Okay. I was just concerned
Yeah,
that
no.
the pictures in the back of the packet were the final product, which it appears that is not the case. These pictures are probably more akin to when the damage was done. Sure, why not?
Mr. Tardif, what number on Sagebrush are you?
You can look through the pictures. You can share them with him. All right, I'm good.
You're right, it looks rough. I took the pictures right away.
No, I don't know who took those pictures.
Sure.
If those came from when the damage happened, or if they were pre or post reconstruction or construction of the swale is really my question. If it was post, I would take issues with it, but you've shown newer pictures that show it actually installed.
Yeah, it's supposed to start between these two, and then hook around and feed it into the basin.
Yeah. What is
Looks like it's
this?
just supposed to be earth. That's the detention basin. See the
Like it's-
stone, it's a stone face.
This is?
Hmm.
Oh. Oh, so it's supposed to come down here. It's supposed, well, isn't it supposed to be directed to there?
No, that's a pipe outlet
Oh,
directing that into
oh,
the
pipe,
basin.
yeah, okay,
So the overland was supposed to hook around and then parallel the back line and
Here.
feed it in.
yeah.
Looking at the design plan, it was just earth. It wasn't a riprap.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
I'm good.
Okay. Unfortunately, I have to agree with the other members of the board, Mr. Tardif, that the town itself, if an engineer is certified that the project has now been completed according to plan, that's the only thing that the bond is good for what has been approved by the town, as the attorney indicated, not for any happenings, as was indicated, third-party instances. The bond is between the town and the applicant, and is not supposed to be used for anything else. Excuse me, so I'm going to call for a vote whether or not to approve it, but I will say for myself as a resident of North Attleboro that I thoroughly expect, this is not me as Marie Connor on the planning board, this is me as a resident of this town, I thoroughly expect, after all the years that this project has gone on with ups and downs, that you do bargain in good faith with Mr. Tardif and make him whole. But that's on you. That's not on the town. Mr. Tardif?
Mario Tardif again, 41 Sagebrush. So I realize the builder has said that he has built the swale and made things right. Having said that, is not made it right to our property. And the problem with me getting anything done is now to get a third party to come in that remediates these things, mold remediation and all that. I mean, for that matter, he came out and took a look to try to give me an idea. He did not think that swale, the way it is correct. I lived there for 25 years. I know when there were woods there that it was not this steep. So that has been built up to make it that steep, and that's why the swale was so important to begin with. But it's not been done that way. So you can ask just these simple questions. You build 47 homes at $600,000. Who is in a better position to fix this problem? It's not, we say good faith. And part of the reason, I'm not trying to hold your feet, and your sympathies notwithstanding, when I looked up, where do I go? What do I do with this problem? The mold, smell, and all of that. It said the planning board responsibilities to issue certain special permits and site plan approval in order to ensure the public safety, interest, and welfare of the residents of the town. So my thoughts were you were in a much better position to make this right. I mean, I don't know how long I don't suspect it takes more than 2 weeks to get a third party like J. Bryan Day or any of those to come in, and they won't come do that with me without me paying them some money to get an exact estimate. I have to pay them money, and I don't know why I should be the one to do that. I mean, they threw me a figure of, look, the whole thing's got to be done, $20,000 to $25,000. I've got 2 offers from the builder. It started at $3,000 and then a final offer of $5,000. That to me is not good faith because they know a lot more about it than I do. They took a walk through the basement and looked at it. They got a much better idea than I do as how much it costs to get this right and make it right. So that's why I didn't want to go into litigation and all of that stuff. I don't deserve that. I've been in the house since 1998. I've been in North Attleboro since 87. And I felt that you were in a much better position to get this fixed and done right than I was, to be going back and forth with voicemail messages, having an offer increased by a couple $1,000s that doesn't even begin to fix my house.
All right, can I?
Thank you.
Have you contacted your insurance?
No,
Your insurance would probably gladly fight them.
I have talked to them, but insurance only works for, to me, pipes have burst in my house and things like that. You know, they don't take care of, you know, groundwater flooding and stuff like that. We're not in a flood zone.
I think if you rephrased how you're describing it to them, they might take more interest.
Yeah. Let me ask you, though. You heard the timeline.
Yeah,
What's the right thing to be done?
I would have called my
Because-
insurance company, and my insurance company.
And have
would-
my rates raised the following year?
It's not your fault. They've admitted fault at that point.
So
You're
then why
handing-
are
insurance
they
company
not
would fight
making it
them.
right?
That's an outside thing. What I'm saying is your
I understand
insurance
that, but
company would.
You're
would
holding.
take them, your insurance company would take their admittance of guilt and gladly sue them for damages. Insurance companies don't just eat stuff. They take parties from one and they transfer the liability to another. That's what you've been paying for 25 years you've been there. You've been paying to have your insurance company do this for you.
I understand that, but
We don't-
You go
I guess
back, and
what-
I don't want to hold this.
No, we
to
don't.
People
I
here.
guess the other side of it is we don't have the legal authority to do what you're asking us to do. We do not have that legal authority.
They submitted a site plan to you.
Agreed.
You
Agreed.
approved it.
Agreed.
Okay, they built the site.
Yep.
It got approved again.
Nope.
Well, they built it and they sold the home, so there was some sort of approval there, and it did not go, it was not built exactly according to the site plan they gave you. I see those dotted lines for a swale. The houses were built, the people have been living there. So somebody, you know, I'm not looking to blame Gil, I'm just looking.
No. Agreed. But
So what, do I sue them and sue the town? That's just not making things right.
can sue
for
whoever
a
you
matter
want.
of $20,000 to $25,000.
I agree. But what I'm saying is that is an outside thing from the town. You probably can sue the town if you want. You could sue whoever you want, whenever you want, but that's the remedy. Unfortunately, in this world, it's you either make a deal or you sue. Or you contact your insurance company, who they make you whole now, and they sue them. Insurance companies don't get to be these big companies by losing.
I understand that, but I've been at some of these other meetings. You guys are voting on things or going to how much more traffic is the development and cost. You sound like you care, so I don't understand how you approve a site plan. It doesn't get done, and now it's okay. So just go to
And we
court
brought
and
about
fix
the
it.
fix to the site plan.
I'm
That's-
sorry?
That is our jurisdiction. They submit a site plan. If it's wrong, we make them fix it, which they have. And that does not, I wish that sounded better for you, sir. I
Yeah,
really do.
I know.
And I will say for the third time, you're in a pretty strong position. And I wish you the best, but it is inappropriate and illegal for us to uphold bond money for a private matter. The bond money is given to the town to make sure that it is built the way it has, and we have an engineer stamp that says it was. And I do not disagree with your take on things at all.
Okay,
Other-
because had I not complained, the swale would not be built.
Agreed.
Correct.
Agreed.
No, I don't agree with that. I would like to think that
Well,
the interim between the time that you complained about it and it got fixed a year ago, the as-built plan that was saying that the project has been completed, as far as I know, was stamped after that. Am I correct?
After the swale was installed? Or
Yes.
before? No, it was before. The as-built does, yeah.
Horsley Witten signed off on it that it was built correctly before the swale was done?
Yeah, but the swale, you know, what can I say? I think it was a grading discrepancy on a plan. The debate on if it was a major or minor discrepancy is up for debate between the applicant and the developer. I don't, you know, it just wasn't.
They're not
All
allowed
of
to just.
this is
Yeah.
immaterial to the idea
Yeah.
that even if we, which some of us may, agree with you. We cannot use the bond money to make you whole.
And the
It's not-
town
it's
can't
not-
provide
it's not
monetary,
appropriate.
yeah.
Bond money is not made to fix things? No,
It's made to fix the development, which is what we got a site plan for. And I understand, sir, your frustration, and I wish I wasn't on the opposite side of this. I will say for a fifth time, you're in a strong position. I just think we can keep talking about it, but we cannot use the bond for this purpose. The attorney is correct.
Okay.
And the bond has text in there that specifies what it could be used for, and the planning board described it clearly what it can. And the town can't provide monetary damages to you, to your property, or anything like that. So I'm not sure what we can do besides what the planning board described.
Okay. So what would be your suggestion at this point for me?
Call your insurance company. Don't describe it as groundwater. Describe it as
It was
the
runoff from-
abutting
runoff
property
from the
had a
abutting
failed
south
design.
Misbuilt
Unbuilt.
development. And I don't want to repeat myself, but you're in
I
a pretty
got you.
strong position.
Okay.
And as I said, I think that the applicant's representatives that are here picked up the message that I was sending about, I expect them to bargain in good faith. This project has gone up and down and created some issues over the many years that it's been going on. I remember this from 2016,
It's like the first public meeting I ever walked into.
9 years ago,
11.
11.
No, I was
Oh,
there.
that's right, because then it came back the first year I was on. So they should get the hint, but
Okay.
everybody else is correct. We don't have legal standing to hold back any of the bond to make a third party and a butter whole. That is between you, your insurance company, and the applicant's representatives.
And you have a video of them saying that they know that they caused the damage.
Okay.
It's from this night.
Right.
Okay. All right. Thank you,
Can be
guys.
accessed on North
Thank you.
TV,
And good
government
luck.
channel, and sometimes it's on YouTube.
Okay.
Facebook.
Not anymore.
Okay, any further discussion? Anybody else have anything to say? Okay, I'll take a motion.
Are these the correct figures?
Yeah,
You sure?
yes.
Anybody?
Yeah, I'll take it. I move that the planning board vote to release the bond in the amount of $491,507 and subsequently an amount of $7,645.19 based on receipt of the engineer and the engineered stamp for the site plan and the fixes. That's my motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Gittles, seconded by Mr. Blaze. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. 4-0.
That was my understanding, that was the original bond, that amount, $491,000, et cetera. It's been reduced, but as long as you're releasing the entire bond.
That's why we asked if that's the correct amount.
We reduced it once and they never took it.
No, well, okay, so that's just the entire bond, I just don't,
Yeah.
one way or another, we're getting to the same place.
Yep.
Okay.
Gil, do you require us to?
No, that's correct. Well,
Would you like to come back
Question,
next week
please,
for us to fix it?
No.
Okay, I suggest you go.
Mr. Curatolo is welcome to
Have a good
come
night.
back
Bye-bye.
on the 7th. I thought so. Thank you. Good night. Next item on the agenda is New England Rides and Amusements, Emerald Square. Again, anyone speaking needs to identify themselves for the record, name and address, and you need to speak loudly and clearly so that everybody in the back can hear you.
Good evening, Attorney William Davis on behalf of the applicant, New England Rides and Amusements Incorporated, with a mailing address listed as 10 Red Oak Drive, Johnston, Rhode Island. So tonight we're here because we submitted a Form S application for a special event at an integrated retail development. That special event is the Emerald Square Mall Spring Carnival, located at the Emerald Square Mall at 999 South Washington Street, North Attleboro. The scheduled time for the event is April 18th to April 27th from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. And the event plan includes locations indicating temporary fencing, portable toilets, vendors, and food and drink concessions. And this all will take place in the Emerald Square Mall parking lot.
Sorry, I missed the date, sir.
Oh, it's on the front page here, April 18th
Sorry, thank you.
to the 27th. Oh, here, in the beginning of D.
Yes, ma'am, got it.
Okay. Go ahead.
And in our plan, we've indicated where the locations of the rides will be, as well as where the food and game concessions are going to be located. In the top left portion of the event, there will be 5 portable toilets, and the entrance will be located alongside the mall driveway with the exit next to Route 1. Now, on March 13th, we already had a meeting with the Special Events Committee, and they indicated their preliminary recommendation of approval, and we spoke with a representative from the police department as well as the fire chief about how we're going to handle the event.
Anything else? Mr. Walsh, any questions?
I do have some questions. Can you kind of go through the whole site flow for me, how this is all going to work?
As far as the locations,
I want to go to the carnival. How am I getting there? How's everything going to flow?
okay, sure. So there will be parking located on the eastern portion of the site. So that will be where the patrons park their cars. And they'll enter the site from that same area.
The eastern portion? When you say the eastern portion,
More on the south side.
Yeah, we're more on the south side of the mall. That's where we're set.
that's where you're set up. Where's the parking?
The parking is right, we're set up, if you see, you have this right here?
Yes.
Okay, and so right over here is the parking on this side right here. There's a big parking lot right behind where we set up,
Stop scrolling.
right up there on the top.
Okay.
Yeah, right where that,
To the-
where the pointer is, yes. Because there's a road, we see where that arrow comes down, that's like a little road that people use to go out of the mall, you know? So we have cars that park up in the back on the other side.
So all of the parking for this entire event is going
And
to
they
take
also
place?
park in the mall too, on the mall, in the parking garage.
How are we handling pedestrian traffic crossing the two roads?
They actually, on past years, they closed that off for people driving in there. They
They,
put up cones or whatever the police department puts up, and they block that off so people can't drive.
I apologize, they closed what off? You said, you just
The
said
road
that.
between the mall and
The parking garage gets closed?
no, not the parking garage now. There's where Macy's is, there's a little roadway that goes right through there.
That
All right,
goes under the garage.
No, it's after the,
So did they close the entrance to the mall?
no, you're on this side of the garage, okay? We, on the other side of the garage, more towards where the carnival is. There's a roadway right there that they block off.
Yeah, that's one of the entrances to the mall.
Correct.
The whole left.
Blue.
What is the blue?
That's the roadway there,
The blue is the roadway?
yes.
The highlighted blue section is the roadway?
Oh, no, that's not the,
Yes, that's
That's-
the roadway right in here, right? Because there's the
Right.
mall on that side, correct?
right, but that, the whole left side of the green area is parking. This, the parking lot,
Could you identify yourself for the record, please? both
oh, I'm
of you?
sorry, my name is Harold Ferrer. I'm the owner of Rockwell Amusements.
I am Carmel
You have
White. to speak into the microphone.
My name is Carmela White, and I work for Rockwell Amusements. And I'm sorry, I'll take that back, New England Rides and Amusements, too.
What are those little squiggles in between, in the blue section? What are all those little squiggles? People or what are those? Excuse me?
Honestly,
Yes.
I'm not sure what those squiggles are.
I
What?
believe those are indicating the flows of traffic.
The flows of traffic. Those are arrows, I
I
guess?
think they're the painted arrows, I think.
That's what I've been slowly coming to, but I guess the darker lines don't really help me figure out what's what.
Those are, oh, those are the property lines.
Getting to that.
So where you have the arrow to the, that you're showing people exiting, is that how people are going to leave from there?
Not always, no.
Some people,
Some people do.
some people do. There's two different exits from that parking lot. It's,
Who owns this
and
parcel?
the arrow is one of them.
See, where the driveway is, they can go that way, and then they can go up behind the wall and come around.
Is this 4 different parcels of land?
This parcel is all owned by the mall.
I don't think it is. So it looks like the highlighted blue section is one parcel of land with some of your tents and tables, so I say toilets, or rides and toilets on. Then it looks like you have the remainder of your stuff on one parcel of land. Then it looks like you're gonna have a third parcel of land right where the cursor is, and then there's a fourth parcel of land. So you're gonna use, is there 4 different owners here?
No, that's just the way the lines are drawn. I think the better plan would be to look at this hand-drawn
So
plan.
the south parking lot, it's definitely owned by 3 parties, and this is it. I'm almost positive.
I think it's owned by 3 parties
Yeah,
as well.
it is. And I think these are the lot boundaries, or
They are the lot
I'm
boundaries.
guessing, I don't know.
No, they are. It's
Yeah.
Sears, Macy's,
J.C. Penney's.
J.C. Penney, and
The main building.
yeah, I'm gonna guess the main building is the highlighted blue section.
The parking lot that the entire event's in, this street is only 1/4 of the parking lot where the amusements are, and the other 3/4 is for parking.
Well, that's not entirely accurate based on the drawing.
This is not drawn to scale.
The parking garage across from the event is also going to remain open, and there will be a police presence there.
Is there a particular reason why you have a COVID test trailer out front?
It was never removed. It wasn't taken off the list. We forgot to take the COVID trailer out of here.
Oh,
Yeah. I'm
That-
sorry.
that was
That was
there,
out.
that was there the first time we went there, right after COVID. And we forgot to take it off.
Is this a new owner of the mall since the last time you were here?
Yes.
Yes.
So who is the owner of the
Oh.
property?
It was,
Because it says Dennis Nizaj is the owner of Emerald Square Mall.
yes,
Who's Dennis Nizaj?
he's the property owner. He's the
He's
one
the
with
property owner.
the authorization for them to use. the
Him all by
space.
himself? He owns the entire mall, the parking lots and everything else?
I do not have the answer to
We
that.
don't have an answer.
I can speak to that.
Oh, sorry.
Attorney Bo Akers on behalf of the applicant here. The current owner of the mall is Emerald Square Mall Realty Holdings LLC.
Could you repeat that, please?
Emerald Square Mall Holdings, Realty Holding LLC. And
Couldn't get any longer.
Yeah.
Are they on the application?
No, only Dennis Nazaj, his name is listed as the owner.
And it says at location Emerald Square Mall. Oh, I guess we have the address right there. I retract it. I was kind of hoping the owner was going to be here tonight, because this is a great opportunity to talk about some of the issues that I've seen around the mall property as well. And considering the bylaw requires the owner to request a special event, I was kind of hoping they were going to be here, because there's quite a bit of issues and maintenance that seems like it's lacked on the south parking lot. Have they mowed it? Is the intention to mow it prior to?
That is the intention.
The mold,
Yeah, it's like overgrown, isn't it?
We're on.
that's total asphalt. There's no grass there.
Is the drainage system
The entire area
functioning?
that you see is asphalt.
I had it, I just don't know where it is. Do you have that copy?
But there's been events there for over 20 years.
So, I'm the new guy, Madam Chair.
Go right ahead.
I'm the new guy here. I don't know how many times the carnival's been here, but are you familiar with Attorney, are you familiar with Chapter 290, Article 6, supplementary regulations that govern integrated retail development? Section F, subsection 3, specifically excludes carnivals and circuses for permitting by the planning board. And I'm wondering whether or not that's been addressed in the past.
I cannot speak to whether or not it's been addressed in the past, but we were informed that the correct application was to use this Form S by the planning board pursuant to 290K Section 1.
Yeah, but F comes before K, and F references, can I borrow that, please?
I'll take that, baby.
Oh, okay, that's good. F, in the past, we have looked at K 1 and 2 thoroughly, which are much longer sections, but F3 specifically says theatrical exhibitions, public shows, public amusements, events, and exhibitions, parentheses, excluding carnivals and circuses on off-street parking areas from January 1st through October 31st, but only pursuant to Section 290-29K, which then goes on to the approval process, the police, the fire, the planning board, town council, all of that. However, in reviewing this, I don't think that the planning board can override a section of a town bylaw at our whim. I don't think that this section allows us, the way it's written right now, to permit something that says that it is excluded. And to that end, I would recommend that if we're going to take a vote, I don't see you getting 3 votes to do that. I would recommend that we try and find some time when the actual owner of the property or representatives, et cetera, come in and talk about all of this. Bill?
I'm not even, so if that's multiple parcels owned by different parties, then the application isn't even complete, right? Because they're not all listed.
Correct, I would.
And they haven't signed. I don't know who owned, I know it's a mishmash of lot lines out there. I don't know who owns what.
Excuse me.
Andy, look at the signatures on the application on the bottom.
There's only one.
There's only one.
Correct.
But they don't own,
Should be 2 different.
Well, they don't even know.
could be,
They don't even know who owns what in the parking lot. And to be honest with you, neither do I.
yeah, I don't.
If I may, I think on behalf of my client, request to have a continuance to the next available planning board hearing.
I don't have a problem with that, but I'm going to suggest that you bring the owner with you and records that will allow us to establish who owns what in that south parking lot so that you can get the correct signatures. You also might want to render an opinion as to whether our issuing any permit would be in violation of section 290F3, because it excludes carnivals and circuses.
Yep.
And yes, we know that they've gone on for years, but like I indicated, this came to my attention, quite honestly, today, as I was preparing for the meeting tonight, because I asked for the entire integrated retail bylaw section, so which gave me all the stuff about, other stuff about it, as well as a copy of the original permit from the planning board all those years ago, back in 80 whatever, and the original permit and agreements. So, and there's nothing in there that contradicts this, so.
If I may add to that, section K1, if you were to read the highlighted section, it actually says the owner or operator of the integrated retail development shall apply to the planning board to establish an area. Or it says for the approval of a proposed exhibit area. So it actually also says that the owner is supposed to say, we want to start using this area for special events. And then that just okays an area, and then it's on the actual special event to do a site plan inside of that area.
And it also goes on to say, even though I know you already went to the licensing board, as you indicated, it says that you can't conduct anything until it receives a license from the town council pursuant to Mass General Laws, Chapter 140, Section 181, or any other applicable state law or municipal bylaw. So I think we need to sort all this out and sort out who owns what and who's on first.
Understood.
You agree?
I do.
Okay.
Well, we'll take that, into account and sort these things out.
Okay, so we'll, I'll take a motion then, if it's okay
Don't need
with the
to, it's not a
board.
public hearing.
Excuse me?
We don't need to, it's not a public hearing.
Just general
I
business.
just want it on the record that we are agreeing to table this to the next meeting.
Which is when, Madam Chair?
It would be
17th.
April 17th.
So this is not going to happen on April 18th.
No.
Now, do you want us to fill out another Form S?
I would probably say yes. And probably,
And you need a plan that shows who owns what. And
And-
then the consequential
signatures.
signatures of who own, you know, A, B, C, D, whatever that is, who owns A, B, and C, and D, and go from there. And if you have any questions, just give Gil an email or a call. So by consent of the planning board, then, this is tabled to April 17th. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is the continuation of public hearing for Marcus Partners, 582 Kelly Boulevard. I'll take a motion to reopen the public hearing. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Gittles, second by Mr. Blaze. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so moved, 4-0. Once again, please identify yourself for the record, and make sure you speak loudly and clearly so that you can be heard in the back of the room.
Caitlin Walker with Marcus Partners. We are the applicant for the 582 Kelly Boulevard project. We're here today to discuss, hopefully, conditions, final conditions for the 582 Kelly project. We had a call with the town's attorney on March 26th and provided a revised turn of the conditions later on that afternoon based on the conversation, which I believe is what you have in front of you and what we can pull up on the screen if needed. After various conversations with the town manager, our council, and MDM, our traffic engineer, we've kept the concept of the temp traffic signal removed as a condition. I had a conversation with the town manager early in the week just to try to have a better understanding of the process for the infrastructure work and where they are. I know he's committed to getting that work underway as quickly as possible. I believe he was also having a conversation with DPW in terms of the strategy to prioritize that light if needed. I also emailed a memo over from our traffic engineer as well that goes over the temp traffic signal warrants. I know we've already discussed the last meeting and prior meetings that we feel we've already made our commitment to the town with our mitigation payment to go towards that infrastructure work, which we pay at the time of the building permit issuance. I would just add that in addition to our payment, the town will also receive 1.3 million from the state once the building permits are issued for each unit as well. That's the payment for the 40R. So that leaves, close to 2 million. I'm not representing the town. I don't know what that money is earmarked for already, but it's a significant amount of revenue that comes in once that building permit is issued for the town to hopefully jumpstart that infrastructure work as well. So with that, I'll pause and answer any questions, comments.
What number or page can you tell me that the temporary traffic signal is on?
It's not. So it,
Special condition?
yeah, it was in the first special condition paragraph. And I think we've discussed
So the
it.
language went from temporary signal to include any appropriate requirements relative to police details, signage, and other traffic controls during construction?
Correct. I think we all agree that we've agreed to this pre-con meeting, which is in here as a condition. We're all going to operate on good faith, and, the police will have the authority to step in if needed, if there are safety concerns or traffic issues, and we'll obviously be a willing participant to, help mitigate it as best we can, but
I think it's important, Caitlin, to note that that's their right as the function of law in the town of North Attleboro anyway. That supersedes all of this discussion. If they believe there's a safety issue, the North Attleboro Police Department has jurisdiction.
correct, yeah.
I don't think we need, and that's what I'd say to my fellow board members, I don't think we need a condition to address that. That's their right as the
It's in
law
there.
enforcement.
It's in there though, specifically in condition 2.
And I agree with you, Jason, but I always think that it's important to not, it's the old say what you mean and mean what you say, because we're not the only ones who are reading this. Any resident certainly is entitled to a copy of this, and reading that we are purposely calling out that the police chief can do certain things, even though we know he's already got the right to
You
do it.
can anyway.
It certainly makes it clear that we intend that that should happen. Greg?
Condition number 29 talks about construction operations and hours must comply with noise regulations. I admittedly did not look up the noise regulations, but I did request, and it has been in almost every other condition that we've ever written, that there should be no work on Sundays or bank holidays, which I believe is not covered under noise regulations. And I remember requesting that being discussed in one of the meetings that you guys were having. And fill me in on the discussion.
I think it just accidentally got removed because I kept putting that back in, and I think Jonathan kept deleting it, reverting it to that condition that you just read.
So that's not
So
an
if
accident.
Caitlin agrees now, I think we could make that change.
Yeah. That's fine.
How about this? We just put it in.
Yeah, I'm please.
That's what, I think that's
think
what
that's
Gil
what's
was
being
saying.
mentioned.
If Caitlin agrees, we'll add that back in right now.
That's fine.
It's,
And I'm
yeah,
saying,
it's
I
just
don't,
bank
no
holidays and
offense, I don't
Sundays.
care if she agrees or not, I want it in there.
Thank you.
Say what you mean, right?
Yep, mean what you say.
Could you pull up that specific language from another one so she can at least see that specific language? And I'm a little annoyed it wasn't, because that was the one email that I sent saying, talk about this one thing.
I think it says work shall not be conducted on Sundays and bank holidays.
That's fine. I just want her to know
Yeah.
exactly what she's agreeing to.
You gotta give me a second. It's gonna take
We
me
can
some
pull it,
time.
we can pull it up from prior.
I
iterations.
just don't
I
want it
understand.
to
Yeah.
be something that,
It's fine.
I'm a little annoyed that she didn't get it in there, Gil.
So work shall not take place on,
Sundays or bank holidays,
thank you.
I believe is the term used in all of the other ones. Or
Yeah,
the phrase.
yeah, I was going through a prior set of conditions and
It's been on every one of them.
bank holidays, yeah. and
Probably in this
Sundays.
one, right here. Somewhere, only 900 pages long.
Yeah, I know.
Nope.
Oh, it was, but yeah, well. Yeah, but I thought it was, well, we didn't have a noise bylaw back then. Did you find it?
No, I will find it. It's just gonna take me a minute. 'Cause
That's what happens when you take brown folders away.
For the record, I'm with Member Blaze. Add it. It's not negotiable.
So that language is then, work shall not take place on Sundays or bank holidays, a very simple sentence.
I would just say construction activities, not work.
No, no work or construction activity?
Yeah, I think construction activities is a better,
No work or construction activity
and that was the only thing
Not that I
that
think you're gonna find anybody that's gonna do it anyway.
shall not take place on Sundays or bank holidays.
Very rare.
Oh, you,
But
I'd be
I've
surprised what you
seen
do to
over
these schedules.
years.
I've done it.
I've
Alright,
known
so
people who
here it
worked
is.
on,
say that.
if I do it on the weekends, they won't notice.
No, that's not why.
I didn't mean you.
That's not it.
Got that?
this is the standard conditions that we use, and this is the language from it.
No noise or traffic producing work on Sundays and bank holidays.
I like this one better. I like the no work, no construction activity.
Yeah, there you go. And honestly, at the end of the day, it's a nuisance thing anyways, right?
And compliance with the noise ordinance above that is fine anyhow.
Yeah, no, I would just add it as a
I
sentence to
think
the
just
end.
add that sentence on the end.
Yep.
All right? You all agreed?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Greg, anything else?
For now, nothing.
Bill?
No.
Jason?
Nothing additional. I would just comment to the town planner, if these are standard conditions, how did we get off of them?
I think that will take a research paper maybe.
Okay, so I would strongly, and I'm not looking to point.
Yeah, yeah, no.
I know this has been a process for just about everybody in this room, so I would strongly request and enthusiastically endorse a set of standard boilerplate conditions for all projects in the town that are non-negotiable. Having gone through 3 weeks of painful negotiation, point by point by point, in the definition of words, I think the planning department and the planning board are well within their rights to create something like that.
I think we should do that too.
So do I.
Agreed.
Well, back to the matter at hand.
In the matter at hand, Madam Chair, is the temporary light?
No, that has been apparently mutually agreed to by our attorney and their attorney to special conditions 1 and 2.
I'm sorry, you said that and I missed it.
And actually, that last sentence in 1, that these documents must be updated for each certificate of occupancy, I think is well done, because if the construction traffic and all that needs updating relative to police details, signage, and other traffic controls during construction, since it has to be updated routinely, I think that works better for it as well. I like that sentence addition.
But just to ask the board, and I've asked Caitlin, I just want to clarify what you just said. Does traffic controls here in this condition mean temporary traffic signal? And
They
Caitlin
agreed
is
to that
nodding.
language.
Well-
You can shake your head, but to me, that language, other traffic controls, to me, includes temporary signals.
To me, it's open-ended.
That's an open-ended call there. Other traffic controls?
Then I think we need to put some parameters on it then,
Oh.
if that,
I'm done talking about traffic signals and traffic lights, and
You should be
just my opinion.
well aware by now of how this board feels about making sure that whatever's going on at the intersection of George Levin Drive and Kelly Boulevard, that all pedestrians, all traffic, all cars, trucks, whatever, are safe.
correct.
And whatever the police chief determines that to be, he knows more than we do. And as Jason indicated, he's got the right to do that.
Correct. I guess my question to you is, we've already committed our payment, right? No, I know, just hear me out for 1 second. We have no control over this infrastructure work that's happening on Kelly Boulevard.
This has nothing to do with the infrastructure work on Kelly Boulevard. This is only regarding the work associated with the construction of your project.
So just a template during construction is what we're talking
We're
about.
not even asking about that. We're saying if it comes up, you've agreed to it already.
Right, but all I'm saying is, let's say that,
We're not asking you to put up the full signal light.
No, I know.
We're saying, if the police chief says to you, you need a temp signal here during this phase of construction, whatever that might be, because he is aware that that needs to be the situation, not just the police detail, for example, then that's what has to happen.
I understand. All I'm asking is, let's say the town doesn't move forward with the infrastructure work. Our project is built, that template is now going to come down. But the town hasn't moved forward with their plans for the for the Kelly Boulevard infrastructure work.
Then I would say you'd get a refund on your money on the developer's agreement, which I can't do,
Right.
and you'd pay for the light to go in anyway. Essentially, that money is earmarked for that light, correct?
We have no control over that.
Correct.
I agree with, Caitlin. I think that the applicant has already mitigated this issue as we discussed. My opinion hasn't changed since the last meeting.
So I think if
If
it
the
means,
town does not do the infrastructure work for some god-awful reason, then I don't think that, what?
We riot.
I can't hear you.
We riot.
Oh, we do? I like rage better, but I think that, I don't think it's reasonable to use that word again. I don't think it's acceptable to tell you you're on the hook when you set all this up with the town in advance.
right, I just want to make sure if we're agreeing that during construction, you know, the police department feels like it's warranted for a temp signal there and we put it in, the Mass Works grant expires or the town doesn't move forward with the work for whatever reason, right? There could be a million things that happen. I think there's even more potential that there's a right if that signal comes down and nothing is put in permanently at that point.
At that point, it's not your problem.
It's the town's.
It's the town's problem.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing, but I mean, let's face it, the past 6 months, your side has constantly said that your project and the traffic improvements on Kelly Boat are not linked together. They're separate projects, right? So this is your language that you guys came up with. So I don't think we need to modify it. This is what you chose.
That's fine. I'm just saying that I just want to make sure that we have an understanding what happens when construction is complete.
I think that's out of our purview. Because you have a separate agreement that you guys made with the town outside of this board that we don't control, which is linked to that money, which we don't control. So I think you would need to revisit that with that group and figure out what happens if, for some godforsaken reason, that other project doesn't move forward.
Do you want to come up?
I'm Danielle Blake with Marcus Partners. Hello, I'm Danielle Blake with Marcus Partners. I would just say, I think you're all pretty much aligned. I think as long as it's clear that this temp signal, should it be warranted, is during construction. And I think that's what we're all talking about here, correct?
That's what
So-
we're talking about, but
I-
realistically, it wouldn't hurt you guys to have another conversation with the people who signed that development agreement that we had nothing to say about, and make sure that you're on the same page.
Yeah, but I think for purposes of these
This
conditions.
permit
I
only
do
covers
agree.
Right.
I mean,
this
literally,
project.
you have an open-ended statement with what we're telling you, but there's also a closed-ended statement on both of those conditions that say during the construction phase.
Right.
Yeah, it's fine. I'll let it live.
Anybody got anything else?
I'm good.
Anyone present have any questions or comments? You got your hand up first, sir. Come on down. Kindly give your name and address and speak loudly. You gotta come to the podium, please.
Hi, my name is Mike Marks. I live on 94 Wendy Drive, and I just have a couple of questions. One is, I know a traffic study was conducted. I was curious when that traffic study was conducted because I wanted to know if it included all the school buses that are in and out of that area.
The first traffic study was done in August. They updated it in December. And then it was peer-reviewed with modifiers in January, and they finished that peer review in early March, end of February. So, yeah, it included school buses.
Sir, 2 traffic studies done twice.
Okay.
Okay.
All right,
By 2 independent engineers.
And actually, it's a good point. The town did a traffic study as part of the infrastructure work as well.
Okay. All right, I was just curious because I spent a lot of years going up through that intersection, 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning. And there is a significant wait up and down 152.
We are well aware of that,
Not
Mr.
under
Marks.
debate, sir.
I know, but as a citizen, a town citizen, I am just stunned that people think that there's adequate sort of traffic control up there. Okay, the other question I have is,
Can I address that, Madam Chair? So, it's important because we're moving toward a vote, and you tend to read what's in the paper, you tend to read what's on the social sites. None of it is correct. The idea, and if it seems like I'm frustrated, it is because I am. We don't get elected to this board, we get appointed, we don't get paid. We review these things in a consistent way. we have mentioned on multiple occasions that the planning board's purview is not to say yes or no to this development. It is to make sure that the plan that Marcus Partners puts in meets with our subdivision regulations and Chapter 40R's agreement. That is the purview of the planning board. The people who said yes happened long ago, town council, other groups that voted for a 40R project. So tonight, as you get up here and offer your testimony, which you are always welcome to do, and it is appreciated, I would remind everyone that the traffic jams are not caused by Marcus Partners and their development. They've been there all along. That the other side, the developers, have brought to the table millions of dollars to fix a problem that was created by the existing residences and the existing businesses. There's not a single car parked over at this development yet, and it's already a problem, which we do not disagree with. We're trying to fix it, sir. Not one, but 2 traffic engineers have confirmed that the count of cars will increase less than 2% existing traffic. That's how bad the problem is. So yeah, I understand that you're stunned, sir, but we've discussed this multiple times, and the facts are the facts.
Well, let me just throw one thing out.
Yes, sir.
If anybody here has ever driven up 95 when you get to 128, you get down to those 2 lanes, who would design a road like that?
I don't know.
Exactly. Okay.
Mass
One
DOT.
other question, all right? I'm sort of a people guy, and I know there's any number of units that are proposed to be developed. How many people are we talking here?
How many bedrooms?
I could get the mix if you give me a
The
second.
exact bedroom counts, 340 units, you average about 1.5 people.
450.
Yeah, we're around there.
Now, that number, is that like adults? Does that include children who need to be educated?
The unit sizes, the unit,
Mr. Marks, I'm sorry, but I'm going to interrupt you. We have discussed this, I hate to use the phrase ad nauseum. We started doing this 2.5 years ago. There was a huge public meeting at the middle school that was done by the town manager. The superintendent of schools was there. During this process here, which has gone on for months now,
Years.
well, no, I mean, since they filed, it's months and months. We have had letters from the school committee, letters from the superintendent.
Letters from adjacent communities who have similar projects.
Right, we have numbers of kids from Plainville that came in with all of the development and departments that exist in Plainville. This has all been presented, asked, and answered. It has all been videotaped. It is all available and free to anybody that wants to watch it.
Okay, well, I apologize for taking up the committee's time.
No.
I want to repeat what Jason said. You are entitled to ask any question that you want, but if you haven't watched any of the meetings and picked up that information, or come to any of the meetings and asked for that information, it's been very clear from the comments in the newspaper for the past few weeks that we were getting really close to wrapping this up. I would have hoped that you would have had a new question to ask rather than something that has been asked and answered.
Afraid not, sorry.
Yeah, Madam
You don't
Chair.
have anything new to ask?
No, ma'am, I have nothing new to add.
Madam Chair.
I've never said that to anybody in 40 years doing town stuff, but and I'm sorry, I feel like Jason, I'm frustrated because when we first began this, there were a lot of people here who didn't know that all this had been happening. But we had been talking about it, 3 years now? We had workshops, and they were all advertised, the agendas were all posted. It gave a party and nobody came. Then, once we finally voted on it, it had to go to the town council. They had to have 2 readings and then 2 public hearings. They gave the party and nobody came. But somehow that has not translated to everybody knowing about it until they filed, we started talking about it, and to be honest with you, it hit social media, and then poof. But it's, I don't know how we get people to, and I certainly understand not wanting to come to every meeting. God bless Mrs. Drobnis. Because it's a lot of time out of your life, and we get that, and I get that. I just wish, and you made me think about it, I wish there was a way that we could publicize, if you haven't had a chance to watch the meeting or be here, here's where you can see it, but here's a summary. Here's where we are with it. And I don't know how we do that, because that's not standard.
Meeting minutes.
Meeting minutes say it, but they don't.
They don't translate it.
They don't translate it into normal English. I'll put it that way. So if anything, you made me think about that, and I hope that helps. And I am sorry. And if I was rude, I did not mean to be rude.
Absolutely not a problem.
Okay,
Madam
thank you. Mr.
So
Giddle.
just in concert with this is, I do think this was a process to address things that have been stated publicly, the planning board and the town just trying to jam this through. I would offer this as a fact. This is the longest public hearing in my 22-year history of being on not one, but two city planning boards. So I take exception to the idea that we're jamming this through. We have heard every word that has been submitted, which is basically encapsulated into three areas. One is impact on the schools. We have had testimony from the superintendent and people more qualified than us, and have cleared that problem in the public hearing process. Secondly is impact on traffic. Totally agree with all the feedback we've gotten over the years. And the only one bringing anything toward the fix is the developer. That's it. Anybody, I would love to debate that fact. And then finally, there was some early on conversations about blight and how ugly it's going to be. I believe we have negotiated trims, roof pitches, plant types, almost every possible element of this over multiple meetings. So if it sounds like, this has not been rammed through. This has been reviewed at every detail. And I will close with where I started. Our purview as a planning board is to vote on whether or not the plan meets our regulations. That's it. We don't get to grant. We don't get to say what the state law is. We don't get to say what they can do by right. We get to look at what their plan is and whether it meets our regulations. That's the truth. Thank you.
Mrs. Drobnis.
I couldn't. Hi, Joan Drobnis from Cliff Drive. I couldn't leave our little moments that we've had these past 6 months without saying how much I think I appreciate all the work all of you guys have done. I know that when we started, you asked how do people know about anything. I just went on the town website and I clicked on the website to get the updates for the agendas. There is one small piece that Mr. Walsh brought up at one of our early meetings, because I think I mentioned several times that the whole idea that we can't, all the entrances and exits is George Leven Drive, and there was a comment made about the perimeter of the project is going to have garages, and I remember Mr. Walsh brought up one that could we put the garages in such a way that if there was the possibility in the future to be able to negotiate some exit into Myanmar, that the placement of a garage would not preclude
So they did that. I'm sorry to interrupt. They did that. They moved those garages between 1 and 3 Myanmar Drive.
Okay, that's great, because I know that came up and.
Yeah.
Gee, was there a meeting you missed?
Which is shocking, Mrs. Drobnis. It was a good idea.
They did. There's utility lines crossing there, but
It was a good idea when you brought it up.
they made it.
It was actually Mr. Walsh's, I think, brought it up as well.
We had
I
talked
remember when she
about,
was napping in the back.
we had talked about that with them in multitudinous pre-application meetings.
Okay, that's all. I wanted to make sure that that's there. So anyway, it's been lovely.
We've been your every other Thursday entertainment. That's wonderful. Anybody else? Mr. Reza, did you have anything you wanted to ask? Okay. Okay, so, I am looking for a motion, which, once it's seconded, I'm gonna do a roll call vote.
So let me just ask a quick
Wait,
question.
Wait 1 second.
Talk procedures here.
Go right ahead.
There's waivers that need to be voted on.
We already voted on them according to what Gil has presented to us. Oh, really?
We haven't officially.
Oh,
This is
We
a
haven't
draft.
Officially, so.
yes. So waivers
So
first.
we could vote on waivers, vote to close, vote to,
You don't do waivers after closing?
I think you gotta close it first.
or we can
Close first.
close, then it's just procedurally.
Close, then waivers, then what?
Vote.
Yea or nay?
Yea or nay? Okay.
This is by right. Is this all roll call, or how are we doing this?
I'm not doing the waivers by roll call. I'm
Okay.
doing the final approval by roll call.
Gil, scroll up. Stay there.
Okay. If there's no further discussion, I will take a motion to close.
So moved.
Is there a
Seconded.
second? Motion by Mr. Blaze, seconded by Mr. Gittle. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Hearing is closed. That's 4-0. Do you want to do the waivers individually or as a group?
Oh, let me just refamiliarize myself, and I'm gonna say it's gonna be a group.
Do you want me to summarize them?
Yeah, I think contextually, we already discussed these
Yeah.
many meetings ago.
Right.
I got him.
Yeah, I think we did these about 4 or 5 months ago.
Man.
I do remember doing
Yeah.
it, but they do need to be voted on.
Oh, no, I know that. I'm just seeing if you have any questions.
Just the
About
language on
language or
4 is
anything?
confusing me.
Which one?
Language on 4, Kelly Boulevard Smart Growth Overlay Regulations and Design Standards, Section 6E, Parking Lot Landscaping, Structural Soil,
It
and
was this-
Specialized Soil Mix.
This one had to do with the soil mix.
Yeah, it's, what is this saying? It's just.
What
was
what
in
did
the
the
That they can
design
just-
standards say?
It was like a soil mixture or whatever, and they just want to use what you normally use, pavement base
Correct.
and sub-base under the paved areas.
Oh, pavement
It seemed
base
like
and
a,
sub-base.
it
Okay.
seemed like a land, like it was a
Yeah.
landscape.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
agree. I guess the subsection A doesn't describe the change good enough for me. It's confusing to me. I get what it
Yeah.
wants, it's just confusing.
That
when
was
you
our
read it.
very first, in the actual
I-
application, we
I
included the
remember it.
geotech.
No, I do
Okay.
remember this. It's,
And the record from tonight is going to reflect that we all understand that we don't, why you wouldn't use a specialized soil mix that essentially is a landscaping thing. You want to, under the paved parking areas, you want to use pavement base and sub-base.
yeah, I'm good.
Okay, I will take a motion to approve the waivers as written.
So moved.
Seconded.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so moved, 4-0. The next one, for the final vote, the recommendation will have to be the draft conditions, special and standard, as, not as written, but as amended this evening, specifically referring to number 29.
Yep.
Did I have a motion?
No, wait, Gil, your sentence is not what we said.
I copied and pasted it from the
I
standard
understand,
conditions.
but that's not what we said. We wanted what we said verbatim. So what did it say before these changes?
Codified as chapter 370 of the North Attleboro Code,
Right, so
period.
we
It just
have
had the first
Then,
sentence.
no work or, delete that whole thing that you've got there. Delete from during, yeah, delete that. Okay. No work or construction activity shall take place on Sundays or bank holidays.
So the keyboard keys do not work good.
No.
Nope. Reread it, Marie?
No work or construction activity shall take place on Sundays or bank holidays. Since it says no work or construction, you cannot put a not in the middle of it, because then it's a double negative, which is a positive. That's grammar and mathematics.
You can't help yourself, can you?
No, I can't. If I'm gonna put my name on it, I would like it to be
Correct.
correct.
Early 2000s texting would have drove you wild.
Excuse me?
Early 2000s texting would have drove you wild.
Still does.
Just texting in general, or? People text properly now.
Yeah, but I still prefer to talk to people on the phone.
Fair.
Okay,
So now what is the motion?
the motion would be to approve the condition, the draft conditions, standard and special as amended.
So moved.
Is there a second? Any further discussion? Okay. Roll call vote. Mr. Walsh,
This is just for the conditions, correct? Yes.
for this?
Yes.
Mr. Blaze,
Aye.
Mr. Gill,
Aye.
and Mrs. Corner says no. And here's why. I know it's passed, I know that. I am sending a message, not just to you, but to anybody who pays attention. During all those pre-construction meetings, and you weren't at the initial ones, so this has nothing to do with you. I asked multiple times if you could do something to make this project special. I particularly remember saying, I want to drive down Kelly Boulevard and see your project and go, wow, that looks really interesting. I want to go check that out. That never happened. And as we went along during these past few meetings, you and Mr. Silverstein emphasized over and over again how much money the town was getting for this, and that you'd already put up front and all that. That had absolutely nothing to do with this planning board. We emphasized over and over again that that was not of our making. We were not consulted about it. I couldn't even tell you what it says. So putting that out there in front of our faces, week after week after week, I did not appreciate in the least. I'm voting no, not as chairman of the planning board. I am voting no as a citizen of North Attleboro. I have nothing against the project. I've said that from the beginning. It makes absolutely no difference what any of us think of the project. If we like it, don't like it, hate it, love it, all of that makes absolutely no difference. As Mr. Giddle indicated, our only job, and the only one we can do, is to determine if it goes along with the state regulations and local regulations. Your project does. It has been, as Mr. Gill said, the longest process I have ever been through. It has been extremely difficult for me personally, and you are well aware of that. So in many ways, I regarded some of these previous conversations, arguing over what does the word reasonably mean, arguing over that money, I have found it offensive to me as a person. I would have loved it if you could have come up with a project that would make us proud of you, and that would have made the town proud of you, and the people that live there proud of you, and the people that live here in this town and have lived here as long as I've lived here, proud of you. That did not happen. And that's the only reason I'm saying no as a citizen. You've already got 3 votes. My vote is technically an abstention. So it's 3-0-1.
Vote to approve it, right?
Well, it's approved, it needs 3 votes.
Well, we just vote on the
And the
conditions,
conditions.
We just did.
but now you have to vote on the project.
I thought okay, go ahead.
No, motion was just for the conditions.
Okay. Accept the project as proposed? Is that what you want to do?
Yeah.
Okay, one of you make the motion.
Make a motion that we approve the project as proposed.
Seconded.
Motion by Mr. Blaze, seconded by Mr. Giddle. Any further discussion? Roll call vote. Mr. Walsh?
I would like to actually echo a lot of what you said, and that's about it. Yes.
Mr. Blaze?
Yes.
I abstain. Mr. Giddle?
Yes.
Project is approved.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is Chair's Corner. I only have one thing to bring up. Gil, did you get the form from Serpent?
Did not,
It was emailed to you
when,
this week.
I will check tomorrow. I don't think I got anything
Well,
from
be
Serpent.
that as it may, the forms went out for appointments to the Serpent Commission from the Planning Board and from the Town Council. So we are, even though our appointments are not until later, we still need to inform Serpent of who is going to represent the Planning Board. So you know that I would like to continue doing that, but that is entirely up to the board.
Make a motion to nominate, or I nominate Marie Clarner to continue to represent the board in Serpent.
Second.
I don't think it needs a motion, right? It's just
It
a
does,
nomination.
it does.
It does.
Oh, I would like to make a motion that Madam Chair, Marie Clarner continues to represent the planning board on Serpent.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so moved. Thank you.
Did the rep from town council get reelected? The previous rep?
From town council, no, because Lyle Perney retired, and the other one is just a temporary,
Oh.
and I'm not sure who that's going to be. I have an idea that what I would like to be, but I don't get anything to say about it.
Okay.
Other than that, I don't have anything else. I will say to you again what I have said before. Now that we have wrapped this up, we really need to focus our time on the mixed-use bylaw. It's been 2 years since we've done that. We have got to wrap that up. And then we have got to proceed with the zoning bylaw update. And I know that's going to take a lot of time, but it will be worth it in the end.
It needs to be done.
Can I make a quick request for that? Because it's come up in conversation with me probably 4 or 5 times in the past couple of months. Can we just try to attack the private road thing because I've talked to a lot of people who live in private roads in town that always ask me, how do I get my private road public?
Well, if it was part of a cluster, they never can.
I understand, I'm talking about for future. I think we can surgically go in and fix the parts that allow these private roads.
The
and just-
only way we could do that would,
As opposed to attacking everything.
no, I understand that, but so you would have to change, help me out here too, Jason. You'd have to change the cluster bylaw, that the roadways are built to town
Public
requirements.
standards, and they are
And then
public roads.
that the homeowners association does not include the roads.
Or we
And
just,
if then that makes them public roads, then that also makes them entitled to trash.
well,
Well,
I don't think we can do the switch because that affects the E EFOSD and the cluster, and those technically don't have lots. They're
Right,
demise
right.
parcels,
Well,
right?
that's what I'm saying though, is
Right,
I would like to start at public roads versus private roads first.
Okay, well, I think we can certainly start that conversation ourselves. It would not hurt us, because we've mentioned it many times before, to bring the DPW in for a little workshop with us about the whole public-private road thing.
They're gonna say public.
What?
Yeah.
They're gonna say.
No,
they need
I
to
know
be
that, but
public.
I work on the record too, you know, so.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's a good suggestion, but, yeah, I mean, we can choose to begin
And-
with certain things.
My rationale, if I
Yeah.
can, is, to me, that's the biggest, in the housing market that we're in now, the cheapest way for a developer to get in is to do a private road,
Yeah.
and then he walks away. And
Yeah.
then they get the same money for the house as a public
I know.
road. And then the people left holding the bag are the actual citizens
Yeah,
of North Attleboro.
right.
And I've thought it's been kind of an injustice for a while. Never really had much support on changing it, but I think we should change
Yeah,
it.
I think unfortunately, it has wandered far afield from what the
Intents
original
were.
intention was, because I've been around long enough to remember when the cluster bylaw went in. The intention was to decrease the size of the roads, decrease the amount of pavement in the project, make smaller houses, and still leave a good amount of open area.
And that's not how any of it has had.
That is not
in
what it
practice.
has. It started that way. If you look at a couple of the old ones, and I mean old, Villa Way was designed that way.
I don't know.
And there was another one, I forget what the other one was, but I knew about them because they still had to come before Concom. That's how long ago that is. But I think that one, you've mentioned that before, but that really needs to be revisited first.
Like, I think back to what just happened
Yeah, I
with
know.
Elite Homes, and that is a prime example. Those are $700,000, $800,000 homes, and because the developer didn't have to build the road to 100% town standard, he kind of met it. DPW said they're never gonna accept that road, and there's a lot of stuff that these tax dollars are paying for that they don't get.
Right. The other part of it that I would really love us to straighten out is detention basins, because it's gone back and forth for so many years. Is it the problem of the person whose lot it's on? Is it, you know?
Well, I think,
We need to split it now.
yeah, I think in the future, basins shouldn't be included as
Buildable
people's
lots.
lots with an easement on it, because you're still paying taxes on something they can't use.
Right.
And actually, the town
I mean,
is,
I have felt that all along,
Yeah.
but,
the town is required to maintain them now,
Right,
too.
that's right, because of the MS4, the town has to maintain them. So instead of them being on an easement on private property, they're best to be on their own parcel that then gets deeded to the town when the road gets turned over. It's just part of the infrastructure.
And I think I actually do truly believe that those are things that we can do surgically.
right, I agree with you on that. And I think that we can do a lot of the legwork on the initial part of that, and then whatever we come up with, just have that reviewed to make sure it's okay, and not hire a firm to do the
Yeah,
whole
no, I-
thing until we've already gotten well into that.
Yeah, I think we gotta
Okay.
come up with all of our ideas before we hire someone, just so we
Right.
can give them
Okay.
clear direction.
And the ADUs, we've got to make sure we address that with Greg here next time. My only comment about that right now is that I would like us to be careful with it, but keep it simple.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we can really overcomplicate it anyway.
I think we
'cause-
need to just
Well,
start.
there are a couple of towns that have come up with language that makes me go.
I think we
And
just
I
need.
read an article this past week that Boston is already having huge problems with it because, and it has nothing to do with Boston or the people who want to do it, they offered money to homeowners to put in an ADU. They would give them a lump sum towards helping do it, which I thought was, to begin with. But because people like us are somewhat innocent and naive, they gave it to the contractor. The contractor only did part of the job. Had a room. So I don't want to see that here, so
I think we
So-
could do
we'll
that.
never be handing out money to do that either,
No.
so.
The state put out a model zoning for accessory dwelling units on March 19th. That was
Yeah.
version 1.1. I don't know if you guys have seen it.
Yeah.
I saw it, yeah.
But it does a pretty good job of.
Is that the
things.
one that has the good graphic in it?
Yeah, it says like, if you do this, these are the pitfalls and this is what you shouldn't do. So like, it gives an example of like, hey, this is something, do this. If you want to do this, you can do it this way, but you have to watch out for X, Y, and Z. And if you do it this way, you broke the law and we're gonna not allow it to happen.
Okay.
I thought it was pretty good.
Can you make sure that those comments all make it into the minutes, please?
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, I mean, sometimes we just put in that we discussed it, but we didn't make a vote or anything, but I would like our comments to be there for the record, okay?
Which comments specifically
All
about the
of them.
ADUs?
All of them.
Things we need to
What
work
we-
on?
What we need
Okay,
to
all right,
work on.
yeah, yep, got it.
and The Serpent appointment,
Sure.
everything that we've been talking about, okay?
Yep.
Do you have anything for tonight?
No,
Ms. Platter?
I think we could do the ADU bylaw next, and hopefully, I think all of us could work on it together and finish it pretty quickly, I think, and that's all I
Yeah, I
have.
think if you come in with this, we
Yeah,
can probably
no, I
draft
will.
something pretty quickly.
Did, you told us that the launch was gonna be opening soon, right?
Mid-May?
That's what
Did we
they
ever-
said on their Facebook, but I think you said you've reached out. Do you get to get an email back from them? I think.
Yeah,
you saw,
what
right?
did my email say?
I don't know, you sent it.
I
Your
know,
email was pretty
but
much-
that was like a long time ago. There's a lot of emails I
think
sent
your
every
email
day.
went something like this: "Hey, haven't heard from you in a while. Are you actually doing anything?"
No, but it had a opening date. My email had a date, and I
I did, I
don't
think it was
remember.
May, like, 17th or something around
Are you
there.
still planning on opening May 7th? I think that's what you said. And then I don't remember.
You don't have to find it, I was only asking, because
Yeah,
did
we
did
would,
we?
and don't forget,
Did we make them get a
every
volunteer?
Friday are updates for the week.
I don't think we did, right?
Yeah, I will. I got it.
Okay. It can be a bulleted list, doesn't need to be big explanations, okay?
What's the deal with Town Street? You told us he reached out and he was gonna start, right?
Yeah. So he is going to start. We're working on the subdivision in the covenant in the bond. So
No.
I don't mind
No, no, no,
updating
no,
you
no.
tonight. I
It's
was
only
trying to
one.
save my update
It's
for
just
the
a covenant.
Yeah.
It doesn't need a bond yet.
correct.
When he
But
wants
I
to get
guess
rid of the
the
covenant,
question
he
is
can
if he bonds the entire project. In the past, we said we would hold lots in covenants. So
I've been struggling with this lately because of other projects. When we released lots from the covenant, do we have the right to release all but one?
Yeah.
To
Do it
ensure
however
that
you
when they
want.
get closer to the end, they're actually completing all the work and we don't run into what we've run into on other projects?
exactly.
Okay.
Just gotta make sure the money's there.
Right.
And hold more than one lot in covenant.
Well, one is pretty valuable, so
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they'll move along to, they're not gonna let it sit there and let us take a lot from them, that's for sure. But if it gets to the end, they come in, they get a reduction, and it's pennies on the dollar to finish the work, they can just say, see you later, and now we're stuck holding the bag.
We are going to do a much better job at that. I can tell you that. Because I've been looking at the past projects and how it was done and,
Yeah, it's all over
and
the
it's
place.
just, I don't know, I can't explain.
Could you, I forgot to tell you this earlier. I got a call from somebody who thought I was still on the Conservation Commission. I said, no, but I said I'd relay it. You know, the hotel, Quinn Street,
777.
Yeah,
there's a lot of trash and debris between the Wattle and the river.
You mean in the
yeah,
river?
we've sent out numerous notices and,
Okay, now you're
supposedly
talking my
working.
language. Describe you sent them numerous notices.
Well, not me, the conservation agent.
Have they responded to said
Yes,
numerous
they
notices?
have. They've been saying, they're working on it, and the conservation agent has
Well, I had
followed
one-
up
I
with
had one guy
inspection.
who told me that at the end of the day,
Describe they're working on it. If it's just trash that they need to pick up outside of the silt fence, but between the river, what does they're working on it mean?
Yeah,
Maybe it's time to threaten my favorite
yeah,
thing.
no, I hear you.
well,
I
mean,
hear you loud and
would-
clear.
You know me, I would have slammed an enforcement order.
It's
down
the,
Yeah, at this
a long
point.
time ago.
it's the trash in the river and also the erosion controls that's failing along Quinn
Okay.
Street.
Then what you should do, because Fridays are a great time to do this, people, because they're gonna stew on it all weekend, is you should go there and you should say, hey, there's stuff you need to do, X, Y, and Z. If you don't do it, I'm gonna cease and desist you on Monday. And then he's gonna have a bad weekend, and he's gonna come in on Monday, and they're gonna clean it up.
Yep. No, let me follow up on that. I want to see, because honestly, the conservation agent has been handling it. I go out there on inspections, but not lately for this.
Okay, but she's
thing.
new. She's
No,
been
no,
here
no,
for a
no,
while,
no,
but
no,
she's
no,
new.
no. What I'm saying is, let me check on it more, and then I will report back.
Tell them
and
that the board,
We'll go with that.
lets her know that the board is
Yeah.
also
If
telling you.
more than
that-
one notice has been sent, then I think it's time to.
I'm happy
highly
to do
consider
that
an enforcement
with the
order.
cease and
She
desist.
can
I
do
just
an
want to look at
enforcement order
it
on her-
myself.
On her own.
Yeah.
And then have it verified by the commission at their next meeting. Trust me, I issued a lot of them.
Sounds good.
You know where the plaza is, where Toys R Us used to be? Mm-hmm. I shut them down.
Oh, Toys R Us was great.
Used
It
to
was a
be.
great store, but I shut them down during construction, and they sent a guy from New Jersey who was about 6'4", 280. And he came up.
It's a linebacker.
He came up to the sidewalk and put his foot up on the guardrail and leaned over me and said, "Well, little lady," and I said, 1, back off. 2, you got nothing to say. So clean that up.
Brave man.
He didn't know me.
Bet you he did after.
Anyhow, take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second? Motion made by Mr. Blaze, seconded by Mr. Gittle. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, we're done at,
8:27.
thank you.